Okay, dorks. Arrow just recently announced a bunch of shit that they're releasing this November. And your old pal, Tard Kent, alias the man of Steelbook, I'm here to tell you all about it, dog. Furthermore, I promise you, tonight, you have my word. I promise I won't rant about anything or even brag about my drug abuses in this video. This is going to be a rant-free, drug abuse-free video. I am going to drink a beer, though, so we're going to have to deal with that. I'm a little hoarse. I need something to lubricate myself. Okay, let's talk about these new releases, motherfuckers. First up, Arrow, for some reason, saw fit to re-announce the Shawscope Volume 3 box set coming to Blu-ray. Apparently, they want to let us know again. I thought Arrow had already, I thought that they had already formally announced this. In fact, I know I've already talked about it. I've already shown this shit on screen once before. I'm not interested. Fuck off. Maybe this is just some reminder. Arrow's like, hey, remember, you're going to give us $150 for this thing. It's like 14 movies across 10 discs with a ton of special features and shit. I'm sure it's worth every penny. This would excite me more if I had actually bought the first two, but I didn't, and I haven't. So, it is what it is. I don't even know how I would fucking fit this thing behind me. I'd have to put it on my custom shelf over there, and I got no room for that. This will definitely impress your friends and make your wife mad at you. Yeah. $150 on that Shaw set. You spend it on what, motherfucker? You got a bunch of Chinese movies? I don't even like reading subtitles, motherfucker. Yeah, she gonna get pissed. So there's an incentive for you to buy that shit. Tomie is coming to Blu-ray in November. That might be Tomie. I don't know. I'd have to see the kana. If I could see the hiragana, I would pronounce that properly. Tomie? Tomie. This movie is based on the manga by Junji Ito. I sounded like a fucking weeb. I'm a dork. Junji Ito, yeah, man, his shit is wildly popular these days. I mean, he's been at making manga for many decades. I think the Tomie manga that this is based on originated in the 1980s. Most of you motherfuckers weren't even alive then. It's crazy. So, look, we got more Japanese horror coming from Arrow. It's not shocking. It's not something that's gonna melt your brain or blow your socks off. It's more Japanese horror. It's like every month they got some new Japanese horror for us. It feels like that anyway. There's 8 other films in the Tomie series. There's like 9 films in this series of movies. So there's just a bunch of sequels, even a prequel, which is very unremarkably titled Tomie Beginning. It's not even the beginning. It's just Tomie Beginning. That's the prequel. You never would have known, right? Holy shit. So given that this is a single release of the first film in the 9 films that were made, this is the first one that was produced. It seems like Arrow is maybe they're not committing to the whole shebang just yet. So we'll have to see if this one sells. Maybe then they bring out the other 8 and they say, well, people wanted it by popular demand. Here you are with the rest of the fucking movies based on the Junji Ito manga. Because I mean, Viz has been making money hand over fist on their Junji Ito releases. They had the fucking monopoly on this guy for a while there. We'll see if this one's any good. I mean, I'm not feeling it very strongly. I got to admit, when it comes to horror films, I like mine mostly domestic. I don't mind a little Euro trash horror, but it's got to be trashy. It's got to be nice and sleazy. So, I'm not feeling this one. Although, I got room in my heart for a little bit of Japanese horror. So maybe we'll check this one out and see how it goes. Also, in November, we got coming a movie called The Invasion. This one's coming to 4K and Blu-ray, motherfuckers, so you can get this one on 4Kizzles. This is a 2007 film. It's the 4th and most recent official adaptation of the 1954 novel, The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. I think that also means that we're actually due for yet another remake of this film in the next maybe 2 or 3 years. I think we're not getting out of the 2020s without a fifth adaptation of the original novel, The Body Snatchers. And look, I have not read The Body Snatchers. I didn't read that novel. It doesn't help that I didn't learn to read until I was 27, but I did not read that novel. So maybe I'm not informed enough to say what I'm about to say, but it never stopped me in the past. I don't see what's so fucking great about it. I read the synopsis. I read all about the book online. I probably read more words reading about the book than if I had just read the fucking book, right? Like, I probably could have read the book quicker than all of the stuff I read about the book. It doesn't sound that great. Like, it sounds kind of cool, but it doesn't sound like it was worthy of 4 films made over the course of almost 60 fucking years. So I don't get it, but it is what it is. This particular film, The Invasion, is weird because it's not the only major motion picture released in 2007 to prominently feature both Daniel Craig and Nicole Kidman. Who remembers The Golden Compass? I was actually excited about The Golden Compass in 2007 because I had just read that trilogy of books like the year before, and I was like, you know, like dick on fucking, pointing right at the 12. I was ready to go see that. I went to go see that in the theaters. I was excited. I was ready for it. I was like, fuck Harry Potter, like 2007. I was like, fucking Order of the Dildo. Get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking watch no Harry Potter. I'm going to watch fucking Order of the fucking douche nozzles. I'm fucking going to watch the Golden Compass, motherfucker. It's got a giant fucking bear that eats motherfuckers in it. You got a giant bear in fucking Hogwarts that eats motherfuckers? I don't think so. You ride around on brooms, playing a hacky sack game on brooms. Get the fuck out of here with your shit. And unfortunately, the rest of the world was not there with me. The rest of the world was like, oh, dude, fucking Harry Potter's cool. What is this golden call? I've never heard of Philip K. I don't know. It was written by Philip K. Dick, the guy who wrote Blade Runner. What are you talking about, dude? And I was trying to tell people, hey man, these fucking books are fucking His Dark Materials. You need to get on that shit. And motherfuckers were like, I'm reading the Deathly Hallows again for the 5th time. Fuck you. Anyway, we didn't get a proper trilogy out of the Golden Compass, but I didn't come here to talk about the Golden Compass. And I'm going to try to reel it back in for the sake of the promise that I made initially at the top of this video. So Daniel Craig was hot off of Casino Royale. He had just put that out the year before. I remember seeing Casino Royale in IMAX. Holy shit. That was a fucking experience. I would go back in time and experience that again. If I could take enough mushrooms and go back and sit in that IMAX and watch Casino Royale for the first time again, whoo-wee, experiences. Just, I mean, like my 2 kids were born, buying houses and shit. Like no experience will quite match the experience of watching Casino Royale for the first time on a fucking IMAX screen. Ooh, yeah. Nicole Kidman was hot off of Bewitched. I don't know. That was a piece of shit. Let me tell you, Bewitched, that was a piece of shit. I got to be honest with you. The Invasion didn't really do much for me. So much so that I've never even seen the whole thing. And I watched all of Bewitched. So let that be known. I would buy The Invasion if it was released in a box set of all of the films that were based on The Body Snatchers by Jack Finney. If they did a box set of all of the films that were based on or around that, tangential to that book, and did like a film history thing where the connections to that book were revealed through a series of films in a box set that were threaded together by that common theme, I would buy that. I think that would be very cool, especially if there were enlightening special features to go along with that. But that's never going to happen because obviously the 1954 Body Snatchers film, Kino's got the rights to that. Arrow's clearly got the rights to this. I don't know who's got the rights to the 1973 version, or I don't know. There's a bunch of different versions. The 2 versions out there in the middle. I don't know who's got the rights to it. It's never going to happen. So I'm not going to lose any sleep over The Invasion. I don't know about you, but I ain't. Now, here's a big one. This is a pretty big one. People have felt this one coming for a little while, but here it is. It's November. Here it is, dog. Boom. Get your vaginas ready because this one's coming to, yeah, fuck you up. A Simple Plan on 4K and Blu-ray. And if you buy the Blu-ray to this, use a bitch. This is one the motherfuckers have been waiting for a damn long time. And people online have been waiting for a simple plan, and they've been like feeling it coming for a long time. There've been a lot of Blu-ray forums.com Nostradamuses that have been like, you know, third eye awakened by mushrooms that have been like, I see a simple plan. It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Here it is, motherfuckers. It's a 1998 film that I think a lot of people slept on at the time, directed by Sam Raimi. And this was like pre-Spider-Man Sam Raimi. So, I think he was certainly known for The Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, but he was known at a level of, fans of that kind of fare. People who liked Evil Dead knew Sam Raimi. He wasn't a household name yet because Spider-Man hadn't come out yet. I mean, nowadays, Sam Raimi, he's directed the Spider-Man trilogy. Recently, the Doctor Strange movie that kind of sucked a ball sack, but whatever. I'm not here to hate on MCU, but he was not yet a household name when he put out A Simple Plan. And so I think that perhaps A Simple Plan kind of flew a little bit under the radar for that reason. I'm not saying that it was unsuccessful at the time, but I am saying that in a retrospective of 90s films, people mention a lot of stuff. Cruel Intentions, The Matrix, Go, Can't Hardly Wait. Shit like that. I Know What You Did Last Summer. There's a bunch of shit. Scream. There's a bunch of shit that will come to people's minds and fly out of their mouths when they mention 90s films. But A Simple Plan, again, kind of flies under the radar. And this one has a stellar cast. Let me tell you about the fucking cast of this film. You should be signing up right away, even if you've never seen it, sight unseen. You never even heard of this fucking film until I started yapping about it. You need to pre-order this bitch right now. This film has Billy Bob the fuck Thornton in it, okay? That guy, Bad Santa motherfucker, Sling Blade motherfucker. It's got Billy Bob Thornton in it. And we're talking about 1998 Billy Bob Thornton. His fingers were still smelling like Angelina Jolie's pussy and shit at that time, right? You think he fucking said, hey, Sam, smell my finger on the set of that movie? And he was like, oh my God, that is the best. We're talking about Billy Bob Thornton balls deep in Angelina Jolie on the set of this fucking movie. He was on fire. He was at the top of his fucking game. His dick game was strong back then. Motherfucking Billy Bob Thornton has been married 6 fucking times for not more than 3 years per marriage. Except for his most recent one. I don't want to like jinx his most recent one. That one's been going for a decade, but all 5 of his previous marriages, not one of them lasted more than 3 years. And I guess that's how you get married 6 times, because you don't have time to get married 6 times if you make the marriages last for like a decade. You can't do it. Although I think Larry King managed pretty well. I don't know how long his were, but he got married a bunch of fucking times too. Anyway, I personally love Billy Bob Thornton. He's a weird, wild motherfucker in all the right ways. I just feel like he is, on top of the fact that I enjoy his films, of course, I like his work. He's a motherfucker that, like, you would want to get drinks with him just because it sounds like it would be a wild time. I don't know. It'd probably be boring, like you expect it would be wild. You'd go out, you'd have like one drink at 7 p.m. and he'd start yawning and he'd be like, yeah, usually I'm in bed by 8:30. I like to read a little bit of a, like a nonfiction, not even like a novel with some sex in it. I like to read like some nonfiction about like blood diamond slave trade in Africa in the 1700s. And then, I'm usually asleep by 9, That's probably what it would be like. But in my mind, I'm playing it up, like going out with Billy Bob. Like we'd be on his fucking motorcycle. We'd go fucking egg Angelina Jolie's house. Brad Pitt would jump on. Brad Pitt would be riding in the little sidecar of the motorcycle, and I'd be on the back behind Billy Bob, gripping around his waist, my head just on Billy Bob's back, and I would just be fucking in heaven, man. We would go tear shit up, me and Billy Bob and Brad Pitt, and we would just fucking, we get drunk and go throw axes, but we wouldn't do it at like one of those places where you're supposed to throw axes. We would be like outside of a middle school at night, like throwing axes into the wood part of the roof or some shit like that, just fucking going crazy, lighting fireworks off and just damaging shit and spray painting shit. We would go join a fucking gang. We would get like jumped in. All 3 of us would get jumped into the Crips or some shit like that. Fucking be wearing my blue, fucking crip walking and shit like that. Snoop Dogg would teach us. It would be fucking so lit in my brain. That's my night with Billy Bob Thornton. Anyway, that wasn't a rant. That wasn't a rant. Okay. It wasn't quite long enough. It was a little bit of a tangent. That wasn't a rant. I haven't broken my promise yet. This film also stars the late, great Bill Paxton. Peace be upon his name. Everybody loves Bill Paxton. If you don't like Bill Paxton, you're the devil. That's all there is to it. You're Satan himself if you don't like Bill Paxton, because everybody else loves Bill Paxton. Everybody. R.I.P. He was taken too soon, but buy this movie for his memory, if nothing else, you fucking heathens. Bridget Fonda. Let me talk about Bridget Fonda. She is also in this movie. Man, I don't even know where to begin. How do I start? We forget about Bridget Fonda today because she retired more than 20 years ago and she never returned to filmmaking. She hasn't yet, likely due in large part to her fracturing her fucking back in a 2003 car crash. And, also she's like rich enough to not ever have to fucking work again, which, I could see that being pretty fucking tempting. I said I wasn't going to rant. I know I promised I wasn't going to rant, but promises, like rules, are meant to be broken. Just ask my kids. I'm like, hey, honey, I'll come to your softball game. Or like, of course I'll be sober for your birthday party, sweetheart. Hold on. Yeah, let me get the piñata. Fuck. You might not know, but Bridget Fonda married Danny Elfman, the frontman of Oingo Boingo and the voice of Jack the Fuck Skellington. He's an important man this time of year. And people these days do not take the time to acknowledge how fucking lit Bridget Fonda's career was in the 90s. Holy shit. I mean, you have, of course, this film right here. She was in The Godfather 3, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. She was in motherfucking Drop Dead Fred. She was in Doc Hollywood with Marty McFly. Single white female. She was in Single White Female. She was in Singles, directed by Cameron Crowe. 2 movie titles that sound kind of the same. It's the same word. She was in Army of fucking Darkness. Also with Sam Raimi. I don't know if that, maybe Sam Raimi kind of cast her in this because he liked working with her in that. I don't know. That's the Sam Raimi connection. She was in Little Buddha, directed by Bernardo Bertolucci, right? The great Italian luminary. Bertolucci. He was one of the, great Italian directors that was making films in the 90s still. She was in Point of No Return, which is the remake of La Femme Nikita. She acted opposite of Nicolas Cage in a film that really looked pretty stupid to me at the time, but it's called It Could Happen to You. I remember thinking that movie looked dumb as fuck. But look, Nick Cage, he's a fucking legend now, and she was with him in that movie. She was in Jackie Brown, directed by Tarantino, for Christ's sake. She worked with some of the most notable film talent of the 90s. She made like 17 movies that were released in the 90s. She fucking said yes to everything. I don't think she turned one movie down that whole fucking decade. It's like she set a challenge to herself. I'm not going to turn a fucking movie down. I'm going to say yes to everything that comes across this desk. Every fucking offer I'm taking for the whole duration of the 90s, not just one fucking year. I'm going to do it for a whole fucking decade. I'm going to say yes to every goddamn thing. It is a shame that she had to end her career with a piece of shit like Kiss of the Dragon. I love Jet Li, but holy shit, that fucking movie is terrible. And I didn't like that movie then when I saw it in 2001, and I was dumb as fuck in 2001. Let's talk about how retarded I am now. I was dumb as shit in 01, okay? And I still didn't like that movie. It was just stupid. Also, she straight up turned into a different human being after retiring. I don't know if it was the car crash or what, but I'm not going to show pictures of her now. I'm not going to I'm not trying to shame her for getting older. She's 60 now. People age, and it's totally normal aspect of biology. I don't look like I did when I was in my 20s either. So what the fuck? I'm not going to shame Bridget Fonda for being an older version of herself, okay? She's probably a wonderful person, and I don't want to shame her, but what I do want to say is that holy fuck, Bridget Fonda could walk into any Target today, and you could ring her up, and you'd have no idea it was her. She'd just walk right out, and you wouldn't even fucking know. You'd just think she was, another mom with two 18-year-old kids or some shit like that. There are conspiracy theories about celebrities dying and secretly being replaced by lookalikes. Google Paul McCartney is dead for examples of how long that goes back. That goes all the way back to the 60s, I believe. But holy shit, they didn't even find a lookalike for Bridget Fonda. They straight up replaced her with Rosie O'Donnell. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Anyway, maybe I did shame her a little bit for getting older with the Rosie O'Donnell comment. And yeah, I did just rant. That was a fucking rant. You asked for it and you got it. What do you expect when you come to this YouTube channel? All right. I'm giving the people what they asked for. All 45 of you motherfuckers. When we get to 50, I'm kicking some of you motherfuckers out. I'm not going over 50, okay? So don't subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, don't subscribe. I got room for 5 more motherfuckers. Then I'm kicking motherfuckers off the boat, okay? Get into fucking life raft and swim once I hit 50. I'm going to start booting you motherfuckers. I don't know how I'm going to do it because I don't believe I can remove subscribers, but maybe I'll look into that. 50, that's my cap. That's my limit. The next 5 of you motherfuckers get in. Nobody else after that. I'm capping you at 50. Get the fuck out of here. I'm not trying to get views. I'm not trying to fucking embarrass myself on the internet and have people actually fucking see this shit. Anyway, I told you at the start of this video that I wouldn't rant. And, you know, even then, I knew it was a lie. I knew I was lying. I said it anyway. Anyway, A Simple Plan is a film that has been released to DVD many years ago, back when you were shitting in your Huggies, maybe if you were a younger person. But A Simple Plan has not yet been released on high def, Blu-ray or 4K. A big film like A Simple Plan with actors of the caliber that it contains, made by a well-known director like Sam Raimi. And you got to wonder, why the fuck did this not come to Blu-ray in 2012, right? Where has this movie been on high def for the last 12 or 14 years? But look, we're getting it in glorious 4K. So take those DVDs, roll them up, stick them up your ass, because you're not going to need them anymore. I don't know how you're going to roll up a DVD. Honestly, I don't know how you're going to do it, but I figure it'll go in better. If you manage to roll it up, it'll go in better. Go buy this shit. This is the big one. This is a really big one. I should have saved this whole thing for the end because I feel like wrapping up now because I feel like I'm done. I feel like, just like with sex, I need a sandwich and a nap before I go again, baby. I am not a young man anymore. We're not getting 2 right in a row. I know you see that on the internet sometimes. He goes and then he goes again. He doesn't even stop. I need to fucking rehydrate. I got to go get like a Prime. I need to drink one of them. I need at least 8 inches of Jersey Mike in me now that you've had 3.5 in you. You know what I'm saying? But look, just for the sake of being a completionist, let me tell you about the last movie that Arrow wants you to buy in November. And I am going to buy this one. I'm not joking. Finally, we have Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, receiving its inevitable 4K upgrade. This is the inevitable 4K upgrade of the month. Arrow does these every month. It's part of the business model now. You've got to expect it. Criterion, Shout Factory are the same. Arrow, all 3 of these companies, they've been in business for a while now. They have an expansive back catalog of films that they've released years ago on Blu-ray, prior to getting on board the 4K train. But nowadays, we got extra Ks, okay? Back in the 20-teens, we didn't have as many Ks. 2K is cool if it was still 2014. So, you know, Criterion and Shout and Arrow, they figured out how to sell more units of the same movie that they released 3 to 5 years ago. I think they released Elvira, Mistress of the Dark in 2020 on Blu-ray. Arrow did. So, you know, generally there's no difference between the releases except an upgrade to the film. They go from 2Ks to 4Ks. We get more Ks in the 4K upgrades, obviously. That may or may not be compelling enough for you to double dip. I mean, this release, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, might not do it for you if you already have Arrow's Blu-ray release from 2020 that I mentioned. I don't have it. So I am almost certainly going to purchase this 4K upgrade because I do like this movie and I don't own it. And 4Ks is more than 2. So, you know, you can't argue with that math. 4 is greater than 2. And, you know, even in my most depraved, I can't argue with that simple logic. So this is a 1988 film. It is stupid. It is silly, it's dumb in all the right ways, in my opinion, at least. I mean, for me, this film is um it's it's just cheesy fun. It's a great example. It feels like a time capsule for me of this era of sort of like cheesy tongue-in-cheek comedy, sort of self-aware, like it's dumb, but it knows it's being dumb. And it's just, like Elvira's just here for a good time. She's just trying to entertain you. And as an addition, she's gonna let you kind of oogle her titties a little bit too. And you can't get mad at that. She's here to entertain one way or the other. So, I already said I'm going to buy it. I am. I am going to buy it. However, please allow me to briefly complain about it as well. This won't be a Bridget Fonda length rant because I'm running out of time, but there are no new features on this 4K disc. Okay. So the disc that came out in 2020, in the last 4 years, they couldn't dig up any more new special features. They couldn't squeeze anything out. They couldn't find anything in the back of a drawer anywhere. No new special features. It's got all the same special features as were on the 2020 Blu-ray. So if you've got the 2020 Blu-ray, literally you're rebuying the same movie that you already bought in 2020 or 2021, whenever. You're rebuying it a few years later just to get 2 extra Ks and get that 4K. They're reprinting the booklets. Okay, whatever. You can get the booklet and the 4K upgrade, but it's $35. You're going to pay $35 again for a movie against all the same special features. And this is a movie like, look, it's a lot of fun and it's a goofy, dumb movie, but like, is this one that needs to be on 4K? Like Skyfall, like you got to have that on 4K, right? Like, there are films like The Seventh Samurai. I mean, anything Kurosawa, anything that level of, Chinatown, Once Upon a Time in the West. I mean, there are like classic seminal works of art that would benefit from a very fine 4K transfer. Even a simple plan, you want that on 4K, and the upgrade is worth it. But like Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, like I've already got it in 2Ks. Do I need the other 2Ks? Like, are her titties going to hit me in the face if I get the other 2Ks? They're not. They're still going to be on your screen. What I'm saying is that I don't know. It's not very compelling. If I already own the Blu-ray, I'd tell Arrow to fuck right off with this. Um, I don't love the art. It's the exact same art too. Like, talk about lazy re-release. What I'm saying is even the art is identical. They didn't do anything but just like, hey, let's do a 4K this time, boom, here you go. And the presentation is identical to before. It's just unfortunate. And I don't love this art because I don't think it's especially flattering of Cassandra Peterson's face. Compare it with something like this. This highlights the Elvira character's sex appeal a little bit more, but you might lose a little bit of sense of her, like a sense of humor and kookiness. She is a very kooky character. She's not some sex pot. She's actually kind of a goofball too. You lose a little bit of that with a cover like this, but I even like the art that Arrow used on their UK Steelbook for this film better than what we're getting here on the 4K release. So I don't know, man. I kind of wish they'd put the Steelbook out over here and give me the 4Ks and give me the Steelbook, and I would be more happy with that. But whatever. This is Arrow's releases for November. I mean, are you excited? Are you going to double dip on Elvira? Fucking let me know. Holla at your boy. I actually need to go write some jokes about the shit vinegar syndrome just announced. So I'll be back with that pretty soon, bitches. Peace, motherfuckers. 5 more of y'all motherfuckers get in. 5. We're down to the final 5. Boom. Peace. I'll see you next time.